I give you an end of a stick to hang on to. One end represents strength, empowerment, and successful decision making. The other end represents weakness, impotence, and poor decision making. Which end of the stick are you hanging on to? How do you know? Which end of the stick do you want to hang on to? Can and will you? Success or failure in competition or in life itself is a mental emotional state of being first determined within the battlefield of the mind. My question to you is, are you ready to take on that battle? For yourself, for your family, for your team? How about for your nation and God? Hello, my name is Andrew Jackson, and I am creator and director of the Center for Symbiotic Sports Psychology and Coaching. This video is an initial presentation to the Tao of Athletic Success workout, a course in how an athlete and their coaches must utilize and harmonize their mind, body, emotions, and awareness together as a team to succeed in competition and in life. A Taoist teacher standing in front of his students was pointing to the moon and stars beyond. The students just stared at the man's broken and mangled hand. He gently spoke to his class. Do not fixate on the broken and mangled hand, for it is indeed a sordid to any beholder. The message is not within the hand, nor within the moon and stars at which it points, but rather lies within another universe that surrounds us, known only through its quiet revelations. The words, diagrams, and pictures in this book are the broken and mangled hand. They are not the message, but point towards the message, which will only be heard within the silence of the Tao. Have any of you slowed down enough to appreciate the movement of light and shadow throughout the day as the sun travels across the sky? I want you to see, understand, and feel this marvelous and harmonious movement of light and shadow. In the Tao, this harmony of light and shadow is represented as yin yang. Yin yang is the symbiotic and harmonious movement and dance of light and shadow, masculine and feminine, mind and emotions. The mind, or cognition, is what goes on between the ears. The mental activities of knowing and awareness, such as thoughts, memories, beliefs, imagination, perceptions, and reasoning. Emotions are felt. They either feel good or they feel bad. Moods, attitudes, and feelings also feel good or feel bad. The Tao of Athletic Success is based in the natural evolution and symbiotic synergy between mind, body, emotions, and awareness. A symbiotic relationship is when different and separate entities work harmoniously together for their mutual benefit. Synergy is when entities work harmoniously together and their output is more than the sum of their parts. 1 plus 1 is more than 2. 1 plus 1 equals 3, 4, 5, or even more. Why learn from the Tao of Athletic Success? The Tao of Athletic Success is about the harmonious mind, body, emotions, and awareness relationship, which has evolved over millions of years of struggle, hardship, and conflict, and the survival of the strongest, fastest, most agile, and clever. Feeling good emotional awareness has evolved with a strong, robust, and healthy physiology of the mind and body conducive to health, well-being, and successful decision-making prowess. Feeling bad emotional awareness has evolved with a weak, frail, and unhealthy physiology of the mind and body, susceptible to illness, injury, accidents, and poor decision-making capacity. It is time to take back what modern civilization has taken away. Which end of the stick are you hanging on to? Your emotional awareness lets you know. Are you training, practicing, and competing within a bad feeling, unhealthy, weak, fragile, and imbalanced physiology? Or are you training, practicing, and competing within a good feeling, healthy, strong, robust, and balanced physiology? What is your mental, emotional state of being? What do you feel when your mind is focused and dwelling upon that which is not wanted, desired, or intended, such as a drop ball, missed tackle, fumble, missed block, penalty, interception, or blown coverage? What ticks you off in your sport? Or what do you feel when your mind is focused and dwelling upon that which is wanted, desired, and intended, such as a successful play, great route, effective blocking, good tackling, a bewildering run, or pinpoint passing? What excites you in your sport? Emotional good feelings are the perception of a healthy, strong, robust, and balanced physiology conducive to power, strength, speed, stamina, endurance, and agility, as well as with powerful and successful decision-making ability and prowess. Which end of the stick are you hanging on to? What is your mental, emotional state of being? Are you competing with an emotional good feeling state? Emotional good feelings are the perception of a healthy, strong, robust, and balanced physiology of the mind and body that are conducive to health, well-being, and successful decision-making ability and prowess. Emotional wisdom is about the understanding, meaning, and the importance of emotional awareness. Are you focused within a vortex of weakness or within a vortex of strength? Maybe your mind is off and you are making mistakes, or maybe you realize you can't weight lift like yesterday. But before your awareness of mental mistakes and your weakened physiology, your bad feeling, emotional awareness was telling you something is off. Your emotions are your leading indicator of your potential physiological health, well-being, and successful decision-making prowess. Your emotional awareness is your first indicator that your mind and body are headed towards a vortex of weakness or a vortex of strength. The Tao of Athletic Success workout is about mental, emotional, body, strength, and conditioning. That is, developing the ability to move out of a bad feeling vortex of weakness and into a good feeling vortex of power. But most athletes are not tuned into their evolved and natural emotional wisdom. Why is that? Why aren't most athletes using their emotional awareness and guidance to lead them into a robust and powerful physiology conducive to physical power and strength and mental successful decision-making ability and prowess? What is today's modern sports psychology coaching and training doing to emotional awareness and understanding as a leading indicator of an athlete's physical health and well-being and their mental successful decision-making ability and prowess? Are you mentally tough? Is that the sports psychology you learned? Do your coaches and trainers talk to you about mental toughness? Have you learned about anger management and to control your emotions? This mental emotional conflict, where the mind must control an athlete's emotional being, does not create the symbiotic harmony between mind and emotions necessary for a winning physiology and decision-making prowess. The Tao of Athletic Success is about developing the harmonious stance between mind and emotions, where they have evolved to work together in symbiotic harmony. Mind has not evolved to dominate emotions. Emotions have evolved to work with mind for a greater synergistic being. What is modern sports psychology coaching and training doing to emotional awareness and understanding as a leading indicator of athletic health, well-being, and successful decision-making ability and prowess? An athlete's emotional ignorance comes from today's sports psychology. Mental toughness is used in the weight room and in physical conditioning. Mental toughness is challenged in practice to keep players going when they are down. Mental toughness is about tolerating and ignoring physical and emotional pain to keep moving and on task. Mental toughness is about controlling emotions. Mind over matter, right? No pain, no gain, right? But it doesn't work with emotional pain. Remember, the Tao of Athletic Success is about using emotional awareness to guide mental activities towards a strong and powerful physiology. How many of you heard of and taught to practice mindfulness? What are you taught? To beware of one's emotional, mental, and body state of being and your surroundings without judging or reacting to them. An athlete must judge and react to the mental, emotional state of being to attain and maintain the health of their physiology. If an athlete just accepts their mental, emotional state and does nothing about it, are they moving towards strength and power or towards weakness and impotence? Have your coaches ever told you to have a short memory and to move on to the next play after any mistakes, mishaps, and poor judgment? But the solution is not to forget about it, but to have the discipline to use mistakes to get into a better feeling, healthier state of being, conducive to better decisions. Every athlete has mentally learned their sport and moves and how to play the game. But have they been trained to understand their sport and moves and how to play the game emotionally? If an athlete is trained in situation awareness using both their mind and emotions, might they have a competitive advantage? Emotional awareness is directly involved with intuitive and instinctive spontaneous reactions. Can an athlete trust their emotions within today's language of aberrant and dangerous emotions that drive destructive behavior? Aren't emotions dysfunctional and must be under cognitive control? Don't we have a culture of anger and emotional management and criminal laws and crimes of passion? An athlete cannot trust their emotions within such a culture and sports psychology. The Tao of Athletic Success is redefining the role of emotions in sports as well as in our society and culture. Are you ready for quantum being of mindless heightened awareness and instantaneous and explosive action within a peaceful state of no mind potential? Do you have the mental, emotional strength and conditioning to climb Mount Everest of the Tao? Are you in a vortex of disempowering, unhealthy, and bad feeling mental activities susceptible to injury, accidents, and poor decision making? Or are you in a vortex of empowering, healthy, and good feeling mental activities conducive to strength, power, and successful decision making? Look at the lower left. What happens to those who climb Mount Everest before they are ready? How many climbers have died trying to ascend Mount Everest because they were not properly prepared? The Tao of Athletic Success is a program to get an athlete's house in order, where mind, body, emotions, and awareness are in shape and working together as a team and ready to make their own ascent of the Tao of Mount Everest safely. First, we must talk about mental toughness versus mental discipline. Mental toughness will lead to injuries and accidents, if not worse. Every athlete must learn to work with their emotions to understand their mind and body's health. A baguba is a brutally aggressive guy or girl uninhibited by adversity. A baguba is not about brutally dominating the opposition physically, emotionally, and mentally. A baguba is not about mental toughness. I am not talking about tolerating and playing through pain, injury, and adversity. What is a baguba? A baguba is not about mental toughness, but having the mental discipline to use one's own emotional awareness to refocus the mind from a place of weakness to a place of power. A baguba is about mental, emotional reprocessing to get into a better feeling place of success under extreme conditions of hardship, adversity, and disconnection. Baguba training for success means having the mental discipline and ability to reprocess bad feeling, unhealthy thoughts, beliefs, memories, imaginings, perceptions, and reasoning into a good feeling, healthy state of physiology conducive to strength, power, speed, endurance, and agility, and successful decision-making ability and prowess. An athlete's foundation for climbing the Mount Everest of the Tao is the health of their mental emotional being. Mental emotional strength and conditioning is about developing and strengthening an athlete's skills, abilities, and understandings to successfully reprocess disempowering, unhealthy, and bad feeling mental activities into empowering, healthy, and good feeling mental activities conducive to health, well being, and successful decision making prowess. Symbiotic sports psychology understands the mind, emotions, and awareness as a harmonious team that has evolved out of millions of years of struggle, conflict, and battle of survival of the fittest, fastest, most agile, and clever among us to work together as a team. From there comes the process being. An athlete can develop their actuation process of success. Every successful competitive move, play, or shot involves a 5-step process. Learning and actualizing these steps will also reduce and eliminate accidents and injuries due to an unhealthy and imbalanced physiology. Intend it, think it, feel it, I know it, and allow it. These 5 steps harmonize an athlete's mind, body, and emotional awareness towards a feels good, confident, and reflexive dynamic to successfully complete a move, play, or shot. Remember, emotionally feeling good has an evolved correlation with a healthy physiology, and emotionally feeling bad has an evolved correlation with an unhealthy physiology. Developing the intuitive athlete is where the dial of athletic success begins moving out of our Newtonian physics of linear time, space, and mass, and into the quantum world of nonlinear time and space and vibrational mass and energy of the chi. An intuitive being acts on a knowing that something feels off, or acts on a knowing that this feels right. To be successful as an intuitive being, an athlete must understand the harmonious dance between shadow and light, feminine and masculine, between emotions and mind. An athlete cannot act on good or bad feeling gut awareness if they are in an aware state of mental emotional turmoil that will camouflage any subtle mental emotional significance and meaning. Whether an awareness that something feels right or wrong, the mind must process that intuition or hunch into an awareness and action from within a good feeling vortex of power, strength, and agility conducive to health, well-being, and success. Quantum being is a peaceful state of no mind potential, of mindless, heightened, and expanded awareness igniting instantaneous and explosive action. Quantum being is a state of no thought, centered in the heart. Quantum being is a very subtle and silent, heart-centered existence of supreme confidence and awareness. There is not a convoluted, twisted, or blaring mind to interfere with and obstruct heart-centered, heightened, and expanded awareness and spontaneous, explosive action. Champions in sport or in life prevail because their cognitive emotional projection of reality becomes dominant and prohibits the competition from seeing the reality of their own success. Which end of the stick are you hanging on to? Which end of the stick do you want to hang on to? The player and team that wallows in the bad feeling misery of a mishap and maintains their bad feeling vortex on that which is not wanted, desired, intended, will magnify each mishap into even more poo. The player and team that spites each mishap and maintains their good feeling vortex and awareness on their want, desire, intent of the success and victory will learn and even use each mishap to their benefit. Emotional wisdom. Where do you start? An athlete starts by attaining and maintaining a vortex of empowering, healthy, and good feeling mental activities. Number 1, Do something for yourself every day that brings about good feeling emotional awareness. Number two, before you start a project, workout, practice, or start any chore or activity, take a moment to get into a good feeling place of power. Number three, start prioritizing your daily activities. Start with the one that brings about the most excitement or passion. And after that activity has run its course, do the next exciting activity. And so on throughout the day. Number four, use the power stick to refocus your mental activities from that which are not wanted to mental activities that are wanted. Realize and be aware of your unwanted, negative, emotional, bad feelings that represent an unhealthy physiology of weakness. But understand the power of your bad feeling, negative thoughts. They tell you what you are focused on, such as a penalty, turnover, interception, fumble, missed block. In your sport, your position, your performance, what don't you want? Now find a better feeling thought. Do your work and get to the other end of the stick by mentally refocusing upon what you do want that precipitates positive, good feeling emotions that represent a healthy and balanced physiology of strength and power. Cognitive emotional reprocessing. Step one is to develop healthy mental emotional distracting activities. The intent is to purposely distract the mind and get off an emotionally bad feeling place and into a feeling good place of power. Here, the athlete is not trying to solve the problem. They must just get into a better feeling place where they can solve the problem. How fast can you get from an emotionally bad feeling physiology of weakness to an emotionally good feeling physiology of strength, power, and successful decision making prowess? Here are some exercises to develop your speed and strength to move towards a better feeling place. Remember, you can't get there from here. In step one, you are not trying to solve any problems. You are getting into a better feeling place where you can start solving problems. So, step one, from a place of emotional misery, do something for yourself that brings you back to good feeling emotions, moods, attitudes, and feelings of a healthy physiology. Distracting activities are only a first step. An athlete must get to where they can do something about their feeling bad and unhealthy mental activities. Here are some ideas to help an athlete develop their own list. You can stop the video and go through the list, or in the description below is a link to a PDF of these slides. Note, the Black Dog Institute in Australia uses student anxiety in primary schools as an indicator of a potential future of mental health problems. That is, if a student doesn't have the skills to move out of anxiety now, they won't have the capacity to reprocess bad feeling and unhealthy mental activities in their teen and adult years when life brings much greater challenges. Step two exercises are about developing mental emotional reprocessing skills, abilities, and understandings to get into a better or less bad feeling place of power. The intent is to turn pain into gain. How fast can an athlete reprocess, restructure, or redevelop emotionally debilitating, unhealthy, and bad feeling mental activities into healthy, strong, powerful, and good feeling mental activities? Here are some ideas to help an athlete reconstruct their mental activities. You can stop the video and go through the list, or in the description below is a list to a PDF of these slides. Symbiotic sports psychology and coaching is about 1. An athlete's awareness of their own emotional state of being. 2. An athlete's understanding and significance of their evolved good and bad feeling emotions, moods, attitudes, and feelings, and their correlation with physiological health, well being, and successful decision making prowess. 3. developing an athlete's mental, emotional strength, skill, and agility to refocus the mind from bad feeling, unhealthy, and disempowering mental activities susceptible to mishaps, injury, accidents, and poor decisions, and towards good feeling, healthy, and empowering mental activities that correlate with a powerful, strong, and agile physiology conducive to strength, power, and successful decision-making prowess. And finally, 4, symbiotic sports psychology and coaching is about making possible gut awareness and intuitive action of mind and a heart-centered peaceful state of no mind potential of mindless, heightened, and expanded awareness, igniting mindless, instantaneous, and explosive action. The success of any athletic training cannot be defined solely by the athlete's ability to win today. Success must also be defined by the athlete's ability to achieve, along with the presence of health, vigor, and joy, and the necessary cognitive skills, abilities, and motivation to nurture these winning and successful behaviors throughout life by employing one's own evolved cognitive emotional biofeedback mechanisms. The greatness of the human life experience emerges from the flames of individual desire arising out of hell's fiery conflicts on earth. Intention is forged in these fires. Emotion aligns our journey with these new intentions. Each succeeding generation will have its own mountains to climb and waters to cross, with their own stars to navigate towards. Intent is that guiding star, and our emotions perceive its light. The more joyous the feeling, the more harmonious and powerful the wonders revealed through life's journey. An athlete's symbiotic synergy between mind, body, and emotional awareness has evolved over millions of years of survival of the fittest, most powerful, strongest, and agile of bodies, as well as survival of the most clever, creative, and cunning minds that have ever lived on this planet. Your evolutionary heritage is there. It is up to you to be it. Success is not trying. Success is not doing. Success is being. Success is a state of being. Don't do it, be it.